Hello and welcome to Sport for Business, where we are joined once again by Dr. Michael McKillop, one of our greatest Paralympians who performed in Tokyo, but maybe brought the nation's heartstrings into play because it didn't quite work out as planned. You're very welcome to Sport for Business again, Michael.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thanks for everything that you've done. Thanks for putting yourself through the preparation for Tokyo and for competing out there and raising all of our spirits and our hopes. It was a tough race. How have you been since then? Because the race was tough. The interview that you gave afterwards, I think anybody with heart would have been breaking just a little bit watching that, about how tough it was for you. But how have you come out of that since?
I've accepted what happened. I've accepted the race result. I've accepted my performance, and I've really much accepted how I feel. And the way I feel is a little bit of frustration. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. A lot of frustration with how the race went and how I performed. And then just a little bit of kind of unfinished business. I said in my RT video or my interview that I wouldn't confirm if I was going to retire or not. And now, taking the last couple of days, the tears have gone, the emotion is gone, the acceptance has happened, and the itch has came back. The itch that I thought I was going to get rid of in Tokyo by winning a medal. And going out on a high, but with how it all went, how it all played out, I had got into amazing shape. My season's best before I left would have got me a medal. I had got in better shape with training camp in Portugal, with a month-long kind of journey in Tokyo, doing lots of training out there. Like, even the session I did a week out from my competition was honestly one of the best sessions I've done. I keep on saying in many years. It's because I wasn't in shape to be that competitive over the last number of years, and that's where probably my frustration set in myself, because I have no answers as of yet. My dad is kind of not frustrated at me, but frustrated at how it panned out. He wants answers, but we can't find answers. And that's probably the toughest part, is because usually you can pinpoint where it went wrong. Did I make a mistake in a race? Did I do this? Did I do that? So he obviously questions himself, which is hard for me, because he's an incredible coach and has been so successful with me and other athletes as well over the years. And I think it's going to take time for us all to accept it in the bigger picture. But I've accepted what happened on that night, and I think that's the first step to, I think, the next part of my journey.
Like, on behalf of the Irish sporting population, that's great to hear, because you've been such a staple of our sporting landscape for so many years that it would have been, it would have been sad but understandable if you had decided that was it. So I guess you're not committing as yet to going all the way through to Paris, but you're just going to take it one step at a time and just see how the body comes out of it, because it doesn't get any easier, I guess.
No, it doesn't get any easier. And whenever you kind of realize that you're in really good shape, it's really hard to walk away. And like I said, because the one performance didn't go well, it doesn't mean that I'm not the athlete that I believe I am currently, the shape I'm in. I have it all in my head what I kind of want to do. But there's a lot more to me than just me on the track. Now we're talking about business. I see myself personally as a business, and I have a lot of stakeholders within my business that invest in me, they invest time in me, people that fund me, sponsor me, that look after me physiotherapy wise, use of facilities, and obviously with how my performance goes, I'm judged on that performance. And unfortunately, when it doesn't go well, you're kind of left in the unknown. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have talks with a number of people to see if they want to support me on my journey going forward. But again, if that doesn't pan out, if that doesn't work out, if people don't want to take the risk, then I again have to accept that and find a new journey. But I believe hopefully we can come to negotiations and agree on a contract that works for everyone, and that we can look to the future and get back into refocusing. But I want to, in my head, I want to go to World Championships next year in Kobe and get rid of that itch that I have. Whether or not that may be I win a medal, whether I don't win a medal. But like I said, after my interview, a lot of people believe that I'm going to retire or I'm stopping para sport. But and I do consciously, as much as people don't think like I think a lot. I think about what other people think of me, and kind of whenever you have articles of, oh, I'm going to retire, I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden you're racing again, people don't like that, and that's one of the things that I'm conscious about, and that's why I made sure that people knew that I wasn't going to decide straight away. But in the position I feel that I'm in now, I do have ambitions, but like I said, it's all based on the negotiations over the next couple of weeks.
Today's news is tomorrow's filler. Try not to take on too much of what people say who are outside of your world and your bubble, because you're the important one. That's a great structured way to look at it, of working with your own personal stakeholders to actually come to the right decision, because they're the people that you're going to need to be there behind you and beside you at the time. Going back to the track, the emotion of those who had beaten you, recognizing what you had achieved, I guess that probably played into the whole idea that this was the end of an era. But you wouldn't swap that. Like, you know, the Paralympics is a wonderful, you know, gathering of people who have all traveled on the same journey to get there. But in the same way as your mother presenting the medal back in London, this was a moment from that games that I think would have really made a mark on everybody. Did it feel like that at the time?
Whenever I broke down kind of on the track, as soon as I came across the line, I think it was a bit of shock and a bit of my personal disappointment and my performance and why it went. And in that split second, probably 10 seconds, I was analysing what went wrong for them 10 seconds until Nate and Liam came over and checked it if I was okay, because I went down on hunches. I can remember that. And then all of a sudden they embraced me and Nate gave me a big hug, then Liam. And then all of a sudden I noticed everyone was walking towards me. Dion came across, the Algerian gentleman came across and started all giving me hugs and telling me how amazing I've been, how inspirational I've been, how they've looked up to me, coming off of comments like, you're the GOAT of Paralympic sport. Like, just at that moment, even though I was in tears, I kind of like had to take a moment in my head. Even though I was extremely upset, I was kind of like, all right, okay, that's what people think of me, and what of my achievements and stuff like that. And like, Nate had won and waited until I came across the line before embracing me, before he went and celebrated, the same as Dion and the Algerian. So it shows you the respect that they have for me. Whenever we came off the track, Nate handed me something that I'll post online in the next couple of days. But it showed the amount of respect that they have for me, and I have so much respect for them because they're my competitors. I want to beat them. I want to be competitive with them. Unfortunately, just on that night, it wasn't to be. And like I said, I have that ambition to be still competitive, and I believe I can be. But yeah, it's going to take a while for us all to come to an agreement of what we do next. But I'm positive with how them talks will go for the next journey or for the next step. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to, if it all goes ahead, and we plan to do it. Otherwise, If not, I'll be really happy as well, because I have no regrets. I have no, in a way, when I do take a step back and I look at what I've achieved, and like I said, I don't owe anyone anything really, but I owe a performance that I believe is good enough to retire on. And that's the only reason why I want to go to World Championships, is because I think people deserve a better performance from me that they have invested in deserving.
Okay, you've given us so many great performances down the years that if it works, God, it'll be brilliant. But if it doesn't, there's no need to beat yourself up on it. Like, that respect works both ways as well. You said your respect for them is immense, their respect for you is immense. I wonder how they'll feel if you do manage to come back and beat them at the World Championships next year.
Yeah, I think like when I stopped and we got back to the village, and obviously the medal ceremony had happened, and we got back to the canteen, like the kind of food hall, as we said, and we were all in there, and obviously everyone's relief was kind of gone because we competed, the stresses, the strain that everyone goes through. And I sat down and had ice cream with Nate, and talked about the build up, how he had kind of been going, like his preparations. We talked about the classification, even though he's a 38 and I'm a 37. We kind of talked all about that and how we felt about it and kind of his thoughts on it. And like I've said about the classification, it's not Nate's problem. It's the IPC's issue. He doesn't decide on it. He just gets out, races, competes, trains as best he can. And as we've seen on the night, he was a standout performer. He excelled to the best he's possible. And you can only congratulate him on that. It's the same as Dion and other people that have mixed it up over the last couple of years and have improved. And like I said, I believe that I can still compete with them. And I believe they would be excited to have me on the track, knowing that I'm wanting to beat them, because that's what sport is. And you're only going to get the best out of yourself if you compete against the best. And if I can put pressure on them for another year, that will make them a better athlete. And yeah, if I do win a medal next year, well, then I deserve to win that medal. And I always look at it's what happens on the day, and anyone could win a medal and anyone loses out on a medal. And basing it on season's best, I should have won a medal. So you can't turn around and say, oh, just because I've ran this time means that I deserve to win a medal. Like we've seen on Saturday night, anything can happen, and you just got to deal with how it happens. And I believe that they're so respectful and friendly that if I did beat them, they would have the same feeling. They would probably be really happy for me, disappointed for themselves. So we can only wait and see how it goes, and if I do go on to World Championships. But if I get the opportunity to have the backing of everyone that has supported me to this point, then I do believe that I can really put that itch that I've had to bed.
It has been, honestly, an absolute pleasure chatting to you today and watching your career as it has developed up to this point. It's an even greater pleasure to hear that it may yet have another chapter to run. So for the time being, with the best wishes of all of us at Sport for Business and everybody within our community, Dr. Michael McKillop, thank you.
Thank you so much.